Oh hey viewers, so we're going to go back in time to round 5 in the Manufacturers Championship for the 2020 FIA season, and this was back when I was a low A rated driver. We're going to skip to qualifying real quick though, but anyways, this was back when I was a low A rated driver, and as you saw in that beginning, this room was only 177 points, so not as many points for the victory, but this is actually the scene of my first victory. So for qualifying, I didn't mash the gas immediately because I didn't want to be the first out, because I wanted to get some slipstream since I'm in the Cayman, which is a handling car, and I'm at Tokyo South Inner Loop, which is a power track, so I don't have the straight line speed to keep up with some of the other faster GR4 cars. So I decided to just tuck into this nice little train here that we formed and follow the slipstream of the guy ahead. So coming across the start-finish line, the guy ahead got a very bad exit onto the start-finish. So as you can see, I'm coming right on his tail. So I have to back off a little bit into this corner. And as you can see, I'm still way too close to him, and I'm gaining on him, and this is sometimes the problem with qualifying these lower rated lobbies. You can see here he's actually blocking me off, so I accidentally go into the back of him. But the problem with some of these lower lobbies, as you can see here, now we're fighting, and this is supposed to be our qualifying lap, is that sometimes I can't trust people enough to slipstream behind them, because I don't know if they're fast enough. As you can see here, I basically caught back on the tail of this guy again. So a lot of times I just go out by myself, and my qualifying laps suffer due to that because I don't have slipstream. But in this case, it's pretty much absolutely needed if I want to secure a good spot. So we come onto this back straight here, and I'm catching him, and it's just kind of a struggle to decide what to do. Honestly, in hindsight, I probably should have just backed out and started again, maybe just taking the hit without slipstream. But as you can see here, I'm just backing off behind this guy because I have no other choice. So coming to the hairpin, as you can see, me backing off has invited this other guy behind me to go ahead and catch up and try to overtake us. And coming to this hairpin, I'd say, you know what, I'm going to back off a lot, and I'm just going to let them go ahead. I'm going to try to space myself out again, and hopefully they'll get a better exit onto the front straight, and I won't catch up to them as we pass some guy ghosted on the corner. I'm not sure what he's doing there, but anyways, we decided to go again, getting ready to set up for the next lap, so just taking these corners nice and smoothly. And the two up ahead, though, are very close, so they might start battling, which would be a problem. The guy up ahead actually gets a penalty, so yeah, qualifying so far isn't going very well, and this was back when qualifying was only 5 minutes long, so there's a little pressure here to get a good qualifying lap. I still want slipstream, so I did decide not to go back, but as you can see here, I'm just catching up on the back of these guys again, and as you can see, I am basically on this guy's tail now, so I decided I'm going to try to pass him because he has a penalty anyways. I'm not sure why he's still lapping, because he's going to serve his penalty and ruin this lap. But again, now we're just side by side, and it's qualifying. It's kind of ridiculous that we're battling for qualifying, but neither of us want to get the spot, so fair enough. Hit my braking zone perfectly fine, and again, I am on the back of this FRS again, or this 86 GT26, whatever you want to call it, depending on where you live. And at this point, I'm just kind of frustrated. It's like, I'm going to ruin this second lap, so I just pass him because I know I'm faster than him. And luckily, he concedes the spot, and I believe he actually exits out because as I look back here in a little bit, he's no longer there. So I did get the benefit of slipstream a little bit on this lap, but not entirely. So I'm just going to show out the rest of my qualifying lap because this turned out to be my fastest lap. So we're just taking this back section area here pretty smoothly, keeping to the apexes, not really lifting at all, just keeping foot to the ground. Tires aren't super worn out yet. Hitting our braking point a little past the 150, about 125 or so, and pretty much getting that pretty spot on. Could have apexed a little better, but got that pretty well done. And then power out onto the back straight, or I'm not entirely sure what to call it. I guess the S's. We're going back on the 3-way onto the S's, and here it's just throttle management. Hit the inside, stay on the inside, go on the inside of the next S's, and come back to hit the next set of S's, and then brake around the 50 marker slow, so to set yourself up for a nice run straight. And I was on the mindset of going again because I knew that lap could have been better, so I didn't pull off to the left-hand side. I should have. That probably would have saved me a little bit of time, but this lap was still good enough for second. And the next lap I run, unfortunately, I don't improve on my time, but I still keep second at the end of this qualifying session, luckily. So, as you can see, the results, preliminary results are there. Only 20 seconds left on qualifying session, and we're going to jump ahead, and qualifying is complete. I qualified second behind Urukon, and RCZ is behind me. So we're jumping ahead to the race start, and I'm immediately throwing it into lean 6 because this is a fuel conserving race. Didn't rev the engine at all, and just need every single little milliliter of fuel left in the tank for this. So this is something that actually was kind of overlooked by a lot of people in this race, I feel. A lot of people are going all out and not really saving fuel. But that's super important. And anyways, so here we go on the race start. And just tucking in the slipstream behind the Urukon. And the RCZ, being an FF car, is a rocket. He's already right on my tail before we even get to turn 1. Luckily, though, they're pretty sensible and they back off and they wait until the main straight where they decide to overtake me. And I'm just tucking into the Urukon slipstream, and that's all I can do. As you can see here, I'm short shifting because I'm trying to save some fuel. And I bump draft the Urukon because I had no other choice, and also might as well let them fight a little bit, let them wear each other out. And I go ahead and brake nice and conservatively into the hairpin, since the two of them are in front. You can see they make contact. Try to slip on the inside of the RCZ, turns in a little sharp. Maybe didn't expect that I was there. But we get through. I'm down in third now, RCZ is in second, and the Urukon's in first. And we got fourth place right behind us. So again, my strategy for this race is fuel saving because, again, I don't have the straight line speed. I need slipstreams, so I'm trying to stay in slipstreams. And I look back there, you can see the crowd's right there behind me, so I can't afford to lose too much time from fuel saving. However, back at this current build of GT Sport, the slipstream was about 1.5 seconds, so I'm still within the slipstream of the people ahead. So I'm just using that to my advantage to maintain my speed while also saving a little fuel as the people behind up front fight. So coming to the hairpin, we're going to break our braking point a little after 150, and the guy behind us almost makes contact, but just barely escaped that. Good on him for avoiding me. As you can see there, the RCZ is now taken first, and the Urukon's in second. So fourth place has kind of caught up to me now. Well, they swap positions. The person behind me now is right on my tail, but luckily they know the track. They back off into the S's. I clip the apex literally and hit the corner, turning a little too much. But they back off. Not a good place to make a move here. And coming into this final corner, I nail it pretty well. Gain a little bit on the guys in front, and the person behind doesn't do it as well. As you can see, they're just dropping right off from me. They were a couple tenths behind. Now they're over a second behind me. And so I have a little breathing room now, so I can just go ahead and focus on the race in front of me. Just go ahead and get into a rhythm. As you see here, the Urukon actually takes that pretty badly, so I have a much higher speed over him, and I just go straight past them, up into second. So now I just gotta try to catch up at first, get into their slipstream, manage my fuel, try not to overdo it as the person behind me is getting kind of close. But braking nice into this little dockyard section. I love this part of the track, actually. Like, I don't know why, but me and this part of the track go very well together. I just love nailing that braking point, turning in. But anyways, you can see here, I gained 2 tenths on RCZ through that dockyard section. So at this point, I was figuring out I am faster than this person through the corners, but they have the ultimate straight line speed. So I'm going to engage warp drive here because I want to show this part of the battle, this part of the race, because it was pretty strategic at this point. But you know, I'm kind of just hot lapping at this point since I'm pulling away from third place. But as you can see here, I'm gaining on second place or first place by a lot. I gained several tenths into that hairpin, braking, cornering, and again these S's, I'm gaining several tenths on them again. So at this point, I knew that I couldn't catch them in a straight line. There's no way I could overtake them because they had the straight line advantage being an FF car. So I decided, you know, I'm just going to stay behind them, fuel save as much as I can. That way my pit stop coming out will be a lot shorter than the rest of the field, and hopefully I can, you know, save a lot of time there. So as you can see here, I am right on the back of the RCZ, but again, the straight line speed on this thing is ridiculous. Like, I'm in their slipstream, and they're still pulling away from me. So, no real use fighting there. So again, I just go ahead and short shift a lot, keep up my speed, and the gap behind, as you can see, is still pretty cushy, so I don't need to worry too much about it. As I try to flip through my fuel setting, but can't really do it on the S's because the G27, I need to take my hand off the wheel for the D-pad. Doing well on fuel, looking behind, doing a quick flash behind. You can see that the person is starting to catch up to me now. So, no need to panic though, the race is only a third over. Just, again, managing the gaps, managing my fuel, managing the braking point, just making sure I'm hammering in the good laps while I still have these soft tires, because as you can see, the soft tires are still doing pretty well right now. The Cayman's really nice on the tires, but anyways, pulling up here, I actually throw it into power setting 2 because I'm catching up to this person and I don't want to overtake them, so just using the opportunity to fuel save, and again, braking, accelerating, they're not doing too well in the corners, and again, I'm right on the tail, but that straight line speed I can't match. But we're going to drop out of warp in a little bit because, as you can see, the gap to the person behind has closed quite a bit, and they're right behind me, so things are going to get a little more interesting. So we're going to drop out of warp here at the dockyard section at lap 5. As you can see, I am still on the tail of the RCZ, but because I'm going kind of slow behind this person, the person behind me in an Aston Martin is catching up to us now. So now at this point, because I'm still fuel saving, I'm trying to play the long game here. I don't want to use too much fuel. I don't want to burn out my tires too much. I decided I'm not going to try to resist too much if they try to go for a pass, but as you can see here, I'm not revving the car out anymore. I'm not going to try to overtake this person. This person probably thinks I'm going to, but I'm not. I'm just chilling behind them, letting them use up their fuel, use up their tires, and just save all my fuel and my tires. But Dawson, as you can see, it's caught up behind us. He's a little too far back for the move, but as you can see here, again, I'm right on the tail of the RCZ. Watching the replay, I found out that the RCZ up ahead actually had horrendous tire wear at this point. I mean, it makes sense, it's an FF car. So that's why they're going so much slower through the corners, and that's why it was landing the Aston behind to catch up. But, again, we're going for the long game here, so I'm not too concerned about this. I don't want to, just let the Aston by, but at the same time, if I fight too much with the Aston, we're going to lose the RCZ up front. As you can see, I'm just about to rear-end the RCZ. That front tire wear is just killing it. So I moved defensively on the inside because the Aston had a run on me, and I lift off here to let them go because I don't want to go side by side to this corner and compromise both of our runs. We're losing a lot of straight line speed. The Aston gets a little too eager into there, and Apex is a little too early, so I get the run on them as I have some better exit speed. They have the slipstream right now, though, so and plus the Aston has better acceleration, so they're able to keep up, but then the RCZ comes back onto the racing line, and now I have the slipstream, so it's going to be a drag race down to the dockyard section, and I'm better on the brakes than the Cayman, so although I do brake a little too late, I missed the Apex there, but no worries, come back around, hit the Apex, and Aston's tucking in nicely behind me. Good. It's always good to have compliant drivers who, know not to get too aggressive. But I go just straight into the back of the RCZ. I didn't really want to try to pass because, again, that would just lose us both time. I'm trying not to lose too much time by battling too much since I'm, again, playing a long game. Take a shot every time you hear me say that. But coming into this, the back straight here, the Aston is now only 4/10, a little under 4/10 behind me, so they're probably going to be able to make a move into the hairpin. So I'm expecting this. Again, I'm not doing too much to fight it, just kind of going with the flow, managing my fuel, managing my tires. You can see they're coming up on the radar. I'm not going to move to defend because they can have it. I want them in front of me so that way I have a slipstream person to, again, just harvest their speed. As RCZ goes into the pits, I wasn't expecting that, but as you can see there, they've used up a lot of their fuel, and they only had 22% left halfway through the race, so they're going to be stopped for quite a bit. And now I have the Aston in front for company, so I decide, again, I'm not going to fight them too much. I'm just going to go ahead and let them stay in front of me. I'm going to slipstream them for the rest of this stint. and my tires are starting to wear out. So at this point I was trying to decide when I want to pit as well, because halfway through the race we had softs and mediums for this round. We had to use the mediums. Now the softs could last up to lap 8 if you're good on tire saving. As you can see here, I get a better exit onto the corner and we're now neck and neck. But again, I don't want to lose time and fight, so I drop off, let them pass, and we go ahead and just go through turn 1 perfectly fine. But again, so back to the pit strategy. Trying to decide when do I want to pit, because we're at lap 7 now. The racing softs are starting to die down a little. As you can see, even though I'm being held up by the RCC in the lap times, they are starting to trend towards the longer part. But I decided I'm going to see what the Aston ahead does, so I'm again just slipstreaming them because I have a pretty decent margin to the person behind, so I'm not too concerned about that. I have almost 6 seconds to them, so I don't need to worry. So coming to the hairpin, we're approaching the pit lane, and I'm a little indecisive. I'm thinking I could go another lap on these tires, honestly. I felt fine. But then I see the Aston goes to the pits, and at the last moment I decide, you know what, I'm going to follow them in because there's a gap behind, and you can see there, they only have 10% fuel left, and I have 35%. So I know I'm going to come out in front of them, and I think I made the right decision because everyone else behind me also jumps into the pits. I get a little extra fuel in case I need it, and I jump out of the pits, still in first. As you can see, everyone behind me had a lot less fuel left, and I was roughly a second behind them coming into the pits, and now I have a 3-second gap to them coming out of the pits. And that just shows the power of fuel saving. It's something I think that gets overlooked a lot in these races. I know like a lot of top split guys like do fuel saving quite well, but not so much down here in the A-ring. So I have a pretty good gap, and I know their pace, we're pretty evenly paced, so I just need to go ahead and start putting in the good laps now. So we cross the line on our out lap, and I'm going to go ahead and cut the next couple laps a little bit, just to show that, again, I'm just putting in good laps. So we're going to get a 2:06 here, and the gap is about 4.3 seconds, and then coming around for lap 10, we're going to get around a 2:06 again, and you can see the gap is starting to open up actually. Now where it's about 5.5 seconds because they're fighting behind. You can see the places are switching around. So the more they fight, the better I get, the more time I get. So we're just going to jump ahead to the back straight on lap 11. And as you can see here, I was a little too conservative on the fuel. As you can see, I'm switching into lean setting 3 or power setting 3, whichever one you want, because I have about 2 laps in reserve, and I have about maybe 1.25 laps left. I was still new to fuel saving, new to all this, so I was being a little conservative. But as you can see, even though I'm going a lot slower, the gap is opened up to over 6 seconds. Well, around 6 seconds. It's gone down a little bit, but it should be. Yep, it's going up now. But yeah, I just, at this point in the race, I just need to bring it home. Just drive conservatively, not get any stupid penalties and make any stupid mistakes. No need to really push at this point. I've already lost my fastest lap on her, and I'm on worn mediums, so there's really no point in me trying to go ahead and catch the fastest lap. So I'm just going to go ahead and mosey along. As you can see there, my lap dropped down to 2:07 for lap 10, and then it's going to drop down to about 2:08, I believe, for this lap. But no concern there, so we want to jump ahead to the final lap, or the final corner actually, jump ahead now. And as you can see here, the gap is still pretty sizable, and I'm going to come around with a little too much fuel, but you know, lessons learned, and do a little cheeky flash my high beam to celebrate my first FIA victory for this season. So as you can see here, the results are confirmed, and I had a 5-second gap to second place, and the RCC actually finished third. But anyways, I was ecstatic with this because this was my first victory for the season, and considering that this is my very first FIA season to compete in, I thought this was pretty good on me. And unfortunately, my driver outfit wasn't my custom one. It's the default one for some reason. I don't know why. So unfortunately, you don't get to see that, but see there, I got 13 wins, got the 177 points. It was a clean race, so overall, very good. So anyways, that's all for this video, so I shall see you in the next one.